Tomoya Aki is pitching a dumpster fire of a plot to the class. Cross-dressing, moon princesses, robot maids, he's just throwing keywords at the wall. The girls try to cut the feed, but he won't stop yapping. Meet Eriri Spencer Sawamura, the school's golden girl, who hates when he screams her name. 30 minutes of cringe later, she's done. She tries to escape, but he begs her to stay. He piles on a mountain of work, and she finally snaps at the audacity. Suddenly, a wild normie appears at the door. Eriri freezes in pure panic. She instantly activates fake mode. She sparkles, smiles, and acts like a perfect angel. The bystanders are blinded by the sudden flash of charisma. Tomoya watches the fans leave. He knows the mask is about to crack. She drops the act and goes for the throat. She calls him a dojin pirate, a leech who uses talented people just to get famous. He doesn't deny it, but claims he brings the passion. He screams that the project is dead without his genius ideas. She rejects him cold, tossing his dreams in the trash. He just admires how cool she looks while destroying him, so he pulls the nuclear option. He holds the limited edition Blu-ray hostage. She freezes, realizing she just got played. She has a total meltdown about the betrayal. He just wonders if she's inventing new slang. Before the ketchup hits the floor, Utaha senpai enters the chat. She secures the hostage paper and forces an awkward ceasefire. She sides with Eriri immediately, shutting down his recruitment drive before it even starts. But she's not done toying with him. She calls him Morals Kun, disrespect level 100, and demands he fix the paper himself. He smooths out the wrinkled dreams while she prepares to judge his soul. The verdict drops like a guillotine, 0 points. She calls his masterpiece a lazy mishmash, a dark hot pot of unoriginal trash that sends Tomoya straight to the lobby. He tries to clap back, claiming he's the chosen one for this project. Big mistake. She instantly pulls the receipts. She reminds him he uses that exact same pickup line for every game he hypes up, then prepares the final blow. She exposes his ingredients: childhood friend, clingy sister, rushed plot. It's a recipe for disaster. He realizes he's been cooking garbage. But just as he's about to rage quit, she throws him a bone. Since he's finally taking his otaku life seriously, she's in. Tomoya ignores the red flags and pushes his luck. He demands the script, the plot, and the fan service. Eriri snaps, sick of their little private world. She screams at them to stop the flirting. Utaha fires a shot, asking why the quitter is still here. Tomoya flinches, spotting the trap instantly. Utaha compliments her personality with a toxic smile, while Eriri makes it clear she hates her guts. Tomoya realizes their toxic chemistry is actually perfect. Eriri takes the bait, screaming in defense. He tries to stop the carnage before it starts, but the death glare is already locked in. It is a full-blown jealousy riot, accusing Utaha of sus fantasies. Eriri claims she is immune to these mind games, then proves she is absolutely triggered. They storm out, almost shattering the sliding door. The hallway goes silent. Tomoya hits the floor, convinced the project is game ended. The reality check hits him hard. He is completely alone. He drags her into the room, realizing halfway through that he completely forgot she was standing there. Megumi calls out the disrespect, but Tomoya just shrugs. He tells her straight up she has 0 presence compared to the heavy hitters at school. First up is Eriri. Publicly, she is the classy foreign beauty everyone adores. Privately, she is a raging high-maintenance brat who only shows her true colors to him. Then there is Utaha, a lethal combination of beauty and verbal abuse. Tomoya knows these two are S-tier heroines with aura to spare, but Megumi is invisible. She tries to dip out for some random errand, proving just how casual she is. Tomoya snaps. He demands she stop being normal and start acting like the lead in a dating sim. This is the mission. He is going to take this dull background extra and engineer her into the ultimate dream girl. Her name is Katou Megumi, the girl nobody remembers. This is the chronicle of her rise to glory. Well, right after they fix the door they just broke. Smooth. If you want to see them actually make a game, comment Heroine below. Let's rewind the clock 1 month. Just a standard day with the cherry blossoms. I was crushing the pedals, racing to blow my entire paycheck on a limited edition anime box set, but a freak gust of wind launched a white hat into orbit. Then, a voice cried out. It sounded way too perfect for real life. It's April and he's wasted 2 weeks staring at a blank proposal, still obsessing over that mystery girl from the hill. He remembers the fit, but her face is a total 404 error, so he decides to just stop frying his brain over it. But anime logic strikes fast. He nearly crashes into a classmate in the hallway. She apologizes and thanks him for the assist earlier, which makes absolutely zero sense to him. He has no clue who she is, until she drops the bomb. Spring break. The hat. She says the magic words. The white beret. His romantic fantasy crashes into reality. His optimism gets deleted, and he hits the deck. Fate just pranked him hard. He tries to play it cool, but immediately fumbles the bag. He calls her Kanu instead of Katou. He realizes he has been obsessing over a girl whose name he did not even know. The silence stretches out like a bad lag spike until he awkwardly tries to reboot the conversation. He decides to just rip the band-aid off and tells her she is actually pretty cute. She freezes, totally unprepared for the sudden riz. Just like that, the air gets heavy again. Katou is not buying it and calls him out for sounding totally fake. He admits defeat and offers to buy her silence with some expensive toast. She settles for cheesecake, totally unbothered. While she eats, he activates his otaku vision. He analyzes her specs. Face is cute, skin is smooth, and her stats are surprisingly balanced. He confirms his earlier statement was not a lie. She is objectively cute. There is a massive bug in the system though. His heart is not racing at all. He just dropped a confession in a romantic setting and he feels absolutely nothing. She apologizes for being unmemorable, then drops another bomb. They have been in the same class for a year. Same floor, same hallway, every single day. He realizes he has been ignoring her like a background NPC this entire time. Desperate, he asks about the white beret, the holy grail of their meeting. She shrugs and says she gave it to a cousin. His fated romance just got deleted. He screams, demanding a refund on his wasted heartbeats. The energy crashes instantly. They accept their fate as boring, average students with zero main character aura. His romantic pulse has flatlined and he is officially stuck in the friend zone tutorial. He tries to act humble, claiming he is just a gross otaku who blends into the wallpaper. He is fishing for a compliment, but she cares way more about the cake. Megumi shuts that down instantly. Apparently, he is a school celebrity. He literally went to war with the principal just to screen anime at the festival. He realizes he was not invisible. He was just a loudmouth public nuisance. She lays out the brutal math. He was too busy living in his own world to check the mini-map. She has been watching him be an idiot for years while he treated her like empty air. That is a critical hit to the ego. Tomoya hits the panic button, swearing he totally gets it. He tries to save face, claiming he's shocked a cutie like her isn't popular. But Katou drops the hammer. He didn't even know she existed until breakfast. He has to admit, objectively, she's got top-tier visuals. She tries to let him off the hook, telling him not to force it. She knows her role is just background noise. She drops the final verdict with a smile. She's plain. Tomoya's brain completely short-circuits. She starts reading off her NPC stat sheet, average grades, 0 clubs, no committee seats. She admits she has no friends and honestly, no courage to make any. Just as she accepts her fate as a forgettable side character, Tomoya snaps. He cuts her off mid-sob. She is not plain. He doubles down, screaming that she's main character material while the whole class watches the meltdown. Katou begs him to chill, but he pivots instantly. He announces this is actually a story from last year, about a girlfriend who was boring as hell. He is raving about the Holy Trinity: braids, glasses, and freckles. To the rest of the world, she was an ice queen, total ghost mode. But for him, she melted. The floodgates opened. She only had eyes for him. It made him feel like the main character. He was hooked on her tragic backstory until she ruined it. She ditched the glasses and put on makeup just to chase clout. That is when he lost it. He was ready to put his fist through the monitor over such a trash plot twist. Yeah, he is ranting about a dating sim, not real life. Katou is so done with this bait and switch that she actually yawns. She admits his screaming made her jump, and a tiny blush creeps up. Tomoya clocks the blush. She is cute, sure, but she is missing the it factor. He leans in. She is not plain. She actually has a strong personality, but she needs to understand the nuance. She pauses, waiting for the punchline. She has personality, but zero individuality. She is just an NPC existing in the background. Then he drops the hammer. Her character is technically doomed on arrival. She just stares at him, sweating bullets. He twists the knife. Her presence is too weak to matter. She finally raises a hand, begging to get a word in. He hit her with the brutal truth. She was officially lower tier than a 2D waifu. She muttered that his pep talk sucked, and the silence got real awkward, real fast. He tried to spin it as a new type of mo, but he was reaching. Later that night, the copium wore off. He realized his fated girl had the personality of a wet cardboard box. He stared at his notes, trying to force some inspiration out of thin air. Then he crashed out. She wasn't a main character. She was an NPC at best. Suddenly, his brain stopped cold. Wait, what if being incomplete was the whole point? The next morning, Tomoya didn't even let her get a word in. He hit her with a master plan titled Megutan's Lovey-Dovey Summer Vacation. He demanded she report for duty every single day until he transformed her into a heart-throbbing heroine. Katou agreed instantly, admitting she had zero social life to get in the way. Tomoya was baffled. He was actually hoping she'd resist, just to make things interesting. Eriri hits the guy with the classic "I'm sorry but thank you" combo. Tomoya plays coach from the hallway, telling her to bench the romance for now. She goes dead silent. He assumes she's deaf and starts stammering her name. The loser walks off into the gloom, and Eriri locks onto her target. Tomoya swears he was just passing by. She dissects his character, calling him despicable for watching the confession all the way to the bitter end. She demands he explain himself, gives him half a second, and screams "time's up" before he can open his mouth. Tomoya pivoted instantly, slamming a brand new game proposal onto the table. He swore he revised the old draft and begged for their honest feedback. But when asked what he tweaked, he proudly announced the changes were literally everything. Eriri just froze. That wasn't a revision, that was a restart. So she delivered her performance review directly to his face with a Mach 5 slap. He whined about the abuse, but she screamed at him to keep his personal drama to himself. The next day, Tomoya sat in a cafe plotting his master plan. He just needed his main pawn to show up. Right on cue, Megumi walked in. He handed her a character sheet, but she slammed the brakes the second she saw the mandatory fields for her 3 sizes. She called it harassment. He slammed the table and screamed that she needed to sacrifice her privacy for the sake of the game's culture. Somehow, she actually bought it. They officially formed their production circle, turning that random booth into their daily strategy headquarters. He asked why she didn't bail after he roasted her personality yesterday. As she just shrugged, admitting his confidence tricked her into thinking it was normal behavior. Tomoya realized this girl was dangerously simple. They turned the club room into a war room to brainstorm the plot. Even with the cozy setup, the romance levels were absolutely zero. Megumi demanded a progress report. Tomoya admitted the school's elites already told him to take a hike. Megumi finally snapped, hitting him with a reality check. She claimed the art ace and top student were way too classy for his cringe otaku circle. Tomoya just smirked. She had no clue those idols were actually total weirdos. She doubled down, accusing him of using dating sim logic to build a real-life harem. He brushed off the insult and shifted gears, catching her off guard. He invited Megumi over for a consultation. By the next morning, she was already at his door. He led her straight into the otaku dungeon. She judged the mess immediately, while he tried to spin the situation as romantic. She complained about the heat. Tomoya moved to help, but punted a juice carton across the room instead. Megumi dove in to clean him up, and just like that, they were locked in a painfully awkward romantic stare-down. She roasted his room for being a total cliché. She wasn't even fazed by the nerd energy. Tomoya knew he had to step up his game. He grabbed a legendary dating sim to show her what real romance looks like. He loaded the disc and locked her in for the long haul. The conditions were simple: clear a game route and watch an entire anime series, or she wasn't leaving. He was dragging her into the swamp of otaku culture whether she liked it or not. She breezed through the basics just to get him off her back, but Tomoya wasn't satisfied with just gameplay. He turned his gaze to reality and critiqued her casual sitting posture like a drill sergeant. Then he started mentally dissecting her outfit with zero shame. He realized her bag strap was blocking the physics, and the pants were a tragedy. She was subconsciously guarding herself against fan service, and it was ruining his artistic vision. He tried to frame her boredom as a specific trope, but when he started ranting about soulmate characters, she just looked at him like he was an alien. They shifted gears to recruitment strategy. Megumi assumed they needed a massive studio, but Tomoya insisted a skeleton crew could work. He warned her against hiring friends just because they were cute. Instead, he pitched his ideal team member, a sweaty, heavy-breathing stereotype in a bandana. Megumi hit him with a hard pass, wondering if he actually enjoyed suffering. He even called their famous classmates amateurs, blowing Megumi's mind. Then he snapped back to the game, screaming that her gift choice tanked her love score. He accused her of misogyny for assuming girls just want jewelry. He wasn't done preaching. He screamed that these 2D girls weren't just lines of code, they were living, breathing waifus. So when she meekly asked for tea, he rejected the line. A real heroine demands hydration with passion. Megumi checked the clock. Reality was calling. She grabbed her bag, attempting a tactical retreat. Tomoya panicked and shouted for a timeout. He refused to accept a bad end, but she countered with logic. It was pitch black outside. He tried to fix it by saying his parents weren't home, which honestly just made the vibe way creepier. Then he got physical and snagged her wrist. He swore this was strictly for the circle's survival, claiming backup was already on the way. He dropped to his knees, clinging to her arm like a toddler in a toy aisle. He locked in, sweating pure desperation. Megumi looked down at this pathetic display and hesitated. Megumi gave him the green light to stay out late, and Tomoya treated it like a World Series win. He realized she wasn't chickening out, so his brain immediately started running dating sim calculations. He imagined Route A, total obedience, a complete doormat, boring, zero flavor. Then Route B, a screaming, violent tsundere. Weirdly enough, that was exactly the kind of abuse he was looking for. He shifted gears to the next target, Sawamura. Megumi looked at him like he was hallucinating. She was the school's top idol. Recruiting her for otaku trash seemed impossible, but Tomoya knew the truth. Her perfect normie reputation was just high-tier camouflage. Granted, she had already blocked his number and rejected him twice. Not exactly a great start. But he begged Megumi to trust him because he had already moved his pawns into position. Earlier that day, Sawamura tried to physically banish him to the Shadow Realm. She told him to quit dreaming and walked away, until he offered to review her secret manuscript over the weekend. That stopped her cold. Back in the room, a bike screeched outside like a car crash. Tomoya ignored the danger to rant about bad game endings. Megumi was too busy listening to the intruder sprinting up the stairs. They froze. The footsteps stopped right at the door. A voice screamed in rage about Mo battle anime and slammed something hard against the wall. Tomoya calmly explained she was just his childhood friend. That's when a sweaty, panting mess of a girl crashed into the room. She looked totally shocked to see an audience.